Objection. The defense rests, Your Honor.
Hello, everyone. First off, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Earl Lent III, and I'm honored to be running for the BUSD Board of Trustees. My occupation currently, I work for Toyabe Indian Health Project. I'm the prevention supervisor. This position has allotted me, great responsibility and great capabilities too, to work with the youth in my community and provide a vital service to our youth in the community. So that being said, the reason I'm running for the BUSD school board is that my personal experience with the BUSD school district has brought me navigational experience, being an alumnus of all Bishop's educational systems from K through Saracoso. I understand how our school system functions, and I know that we can provide a tremendous opportunity for our rural area. With all my children currently in Bishop Public Schools or having already graduated from Bishop High, I know the importance of quality education and how it betters our children's future by making them more informed and knowledgeable, and it prepares them for great opportunities. If I'm elected to the school board, I would serve as a voice of the community and help children and families feel their concerns are being heard and addressed at a board level. I would be transparent and informative when it comes to addressing the community about issues concerning their children's education. I would hold myself and others accountable, putting an emphasis on creating a cohesive, solution-based work environment. So what are my specific qualifications for this position? So I'm a Bishop High graduate, class of 1999. I have both work experience and education. My education consists of an AA degree in behavioral science from Saracoso College, an AA in liberal arts and humanities from Saracoso College, an associate's teaching certificate in childhood education from Saracoso, and an AAT in psychology at Saracoso. I also have an Associate's of Science degree in computer-aided drafting and design from Santa Barbara City College. I'm currently enrolled in pursuing a concurrent bachelor's and master's program at Southern New Hampshire. I'm majoring in psychology with an emphasis on addiction studies. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and being a non-traditional student, I understand the concept of going back to school and working full-time and holding down a job and a career. So my career experience, I'm a youth prevention supervisor at Toyabe Indian Health Project. I have been there for over 10 years, and this type of work gives me the opportunity to empower youth and listen to their concerns while providing outreach on important health topics. My job keeps me up to date on all the health-related topics affecting youth today, including substance use trends and mental health concerns. My work experience provides me access to top evidence-based prevention approaches and keeps current on issues surrounding our community's youth. I work in a team-based approach, and it has helped inform and develop my experience in building sustainable programs that have increased community access to care. I sit on the Bishop Tribal Wellness Committee for the tribe. I lead the Tribal Local Opioid Coalition, and through these opportunities, so what ideas do I plan to implement? So number one, I would focus on increased training and support for teachers and staff. I have a high level of trust in our teachers as professionals. The teachers that I have had a pleasure with working with have been the most professional and have gone above and beyond in helping find solutions or connecting me to the right resources to any problem I have had. I feel that we need to support our teachers and look at their concerns as well. Diversity, equality, and inclusion. A good school district supports children and puts an emphasis on the whole family care. and understands the circumstances families are facing and addresses them with compassion and understanding. Another reason I love diversity in education is because it shows how we can celebrate our differences while demonstrating our similarities. Transparency and accountability. I would implement measurable goals and provide outcomes. And I will provide transparent, reliable data and have an open door board policy meeting where family feel their concerns are being addressed and that board members are approachable. So I would just like to say that I'm proud that I'm able to serve a vital role as a community advocate, and I look forward to being elected to the board. And if I become elected, I would just serve as that voice of the community and really look to a solution-based approach going forward, being open-minded, looking at both sides of the table, and really being able to...
Hello, my name is Virginia Figueroa, and I'm a resident of Bishop for 34 years. I have a daughter who is born and raised here in Bishop. She attended two schools and graduated from Bishop High. When she was 3 and ready to attend preschool, I volunteered at the classroom as much as possible. They offered me a teacher assistant position when she was attending to preschool. And I took the position, and I needed to go to college. So I attended to Cerro Coso Community College, and I graduated in 2005. I earned my degree on early childhood development, and since then, I've been trying to overcome all my challenges. I started a school with no English at all. I'm from Mexico, and when I moved here, I didn't know any English. And one day I saw myself in a college classroom taking all these classes and trying to achieve all my goals. It was a challenge, and it was complicated, but I did it. Being a single mother, I had to work 3 jobs and attended college. But that didn't stop me to keep volunteering at my daughter's school. I was always present for school activities, reunions, and everything that involved to be at school. With time, I was able to perform different positions at preschool. I was a volunteer, then a teacher assistant, then a teacher, then I became a family advocate, and finally, I was a site supervisor lead teacher. During my time working at Head Start, that it was from Churuaymaca, I was able to supervise 4 of the classrooms. For the School Board of Trustees position, I had 4 years serving at our district board. I have learned so much from our school district, from the school director to budgeting, different programs and organization, different curriculums. I was part of the process of hiring 2 superintendents during the 4 years. The first superintendent was a good fit, but our wasn't a good fit, but our district, for our district. And now we have Katie Colker, our new superintendent, who has shown great capacity to maintain our district and great shape. My background in education gives me more knowledge about what our students need. Through my 28 years on education, I have built great relationships with the different cultures and with different agencies in our community. Being bilingual is another qualification because I can help those families, parents, or students to express their voices or their needs to the board. First, I want to be the representation of the different diversity in our community. I want to help build the bridge of communication and trust between school, parents, and students. Support on the new planning and implementation of security in the different campuses after the very challenging years that we just had where our community was so affected. I would like to see that we can come together again. We can work together towards the same goal. and the goal is our students. We have an amazing area. We can say that our schools are still safe. And I believe that we can create a new system where we can see our students succeed, embrace our students to empower their future. We all want the best for our kids, and the best is their bright future.
My name is Ambroshia Stone, and I am one of the 9 candidates running for the Bishop Unified School District School Board. I am a mother of 5 with 4 of my children attending Bishop Unified School District. I am a local, born and raised. I am a graduate of 2005, a proud U.S. Navy veteran with 8 honorable years of service. I hold a bachelor's degree in social science, and I also hold a master's degree in organizational leadership. Today, I find myself working for Owens Valley Career Development Center as the Tribal TANF site manager. I am inspired to be running for the school board as a parent, community member, and youth advocate. I've been inspired and encouraged by the community, students, and passion to take a position to be able to serve and support students, educators, administrators, and other stakeholders. I hope to bring a refreshed, founded, strong voice to the school board. I hope to bring to the school board a balanced representation of diversity with a stance of level-headed thinking with compassion, understanding, leadership, and vision, and commitment. That being said, I am a candidate from the tribal community. However, I am not a voice for one group of students or a community. I am a voice that stands for every single student, parent, and teacher. What are your specific qualifications for this position? My specific qualifications for this position include preparation over the years as a mother, parent, community member, and youth advocate. I have served as the Bishop Indian Head Start Policy Council chairwoman for 2 terms, having oversight and delegation over program year budgets, seeking funding opportunities, and providing approval, ensuring program compliance, and providing child and parent support. In addition, through my work and professional life, I have provided leadership, implementation, program compliance, and policy creation over numerous grants, programs, and teams. I am familiar with budgets and financial accountability, in addition to overseeing budgets up to or exceeding millions. My community involvement stems in both Native and non-Native communities. The truth in this question, aside from professional qualifications, is beyond budget knowledge, beyond education, but in being a parent with children within the local public school district system from preschool up to their senior year. That's where the real preparation comes from. Seeing the inner workings of your child's average school day, and further the days we've recently experienced as a community, watching the pandemic unfold. By the time my last child has graduated, I will have had 5 different and unique experiences within the Bishop Unified School District. What ideas do I plan to implement? One of the most crucial implementations I plan to see through is bringing together the voices from each and every sub-community that exists within our school district. It is vitally important that the Bishop Unified School District School Board hear from everyone, not only the loudest in the room, but those parents like me who struggle to step foot in a classroom, a school board meeting, a child's after-school performance, or sports game. I want to see board meetings with advocating parents and supporting educators, vice versa. A room where decisions can be made to reflect level-headed and strategic thinking to encourage and see the results of successful academic achievement. Second, in watching the pandemic unfold, with respect to the current school board, I believe further conversations and planning can be had to ensure that we as a school board and as a community together can make sound and respectful decisions to continuously see our students thrive through consequences of delayed education, social and emotional mental health, and overall well-being, and that educators feel supported as well in these decisions. Another area of implementation is further looking into students and safety and employee safety, a much larger complex conversation to be had. As parents, I know we want our children to be safe and have the opportunity to learn and grow in a safe learning environment. I also know our educators and our admin teams want the same, as well as to also feel safe in their roles on campus. It is important for us to remember, as a small community, we are not exempted from the outside world. Anything can happen anywhere. Our concern should be to ensure we are ready and we are prepared. I'm sure as time passes, my motivation to see other plans through will arise. There will also be others with their ideas and plans they'd like to see through, and I'd hope to have a healthy and supportive conversation around those ideas as well.
I'm Jason Brown. I'm sitting down with Bobby Tanner, and we're talking about some developing news that's taking place in Reds Meadows. Bobby, what's happening?
Well, the Reds Meadow Road is a very narrow, steep road into the Reds Meadow Valley. It's there by design, a little narrow road to provide to protect the valley, to keep a heavy use out of the valley. However, the Forest Service has decided to go for a very significant change of direction for what's been over a 70-year direction of that valley. In the 1950s and 60s, there was a push for a Trans-Sierra Highway to cross the Sierras to go through Reds Meadow, which culminated with Ronald Reagan coming to the area in 1972 with his infamous Summit Meadow press conference, in which he showed up with a note from President Nixon saying no Trans-Sierra Highway, and the Reds Meadow Valley will remain protected as a pristine type setting into the future. And from that press conference of Ronald Reagan, decisions were made that the Reds Meadow Valley would remain a wilderness type experience. Direction was set forth by the Forest Service, and my family was told that Reds Meadow would never look like Mammoth. It would always be a wilderness type experience for the visitors. However, recently the Forest Service has apparently taken a significant change of direction. They are now turning the road to Reds Meadow over to the town of Mammoth, which is going to develop a full 2-lane road all the way into Reds Meadow, whereas it's been a lane and a half road by design, and buses are used to bring the people in and out of the valley, to protect the number of people, to control the number of people visiting the valley, as well as there's no parking in the valley. It's to keep the valley as a wilderness type experience. However, the Forest Service is now turning the valley over to the town of Mammoth, which wilderness type experience is not exactly what the town of Mammoth does. The town of Mammoth, their focus is on development and those sorts of things. And so, in addition to a $25 million widening of the road, the town of Mammoth previously has questioned the use of the buses, which I think the Forest Service is at least holding the line on that we will continue to have buses. But then the Forest Service is also working with some additional funds coming into the valley for $7 million to be invested into infrastructure in the valley. Infrastructure is not supposed to exist in that valley, is the whole point. So, and the road project, the Forest Service is a common practice. Forest Service has the local jurisdiction, which would be the local county, which is done in Inyo County, Mono County. The Mount Whitney Road is an example. Inyo County, Rock Creek Road is an example in Mono County, where the Forest Service goes to the county gets the funds to rebuild the road, then the Forest Service basically gives the road to the county, which all sounds good, which is fine, except Reds Meadow is entirely within Madera County, and the Forest Service has been unwilling to work with Madera County on this project. Madera County is fighting back the best they can, saying, this is our county. If you're going to be giving the road away, you should give it to us. And this is nothing short of a land grab by the town of Mammoth. And so Madera County is rather unhappy that the Forest Service is basically allowing a land grab by the town of Mammoth. Not one part of the Reds Meadow Valley or the Reds Meadow Road is within the incorporated area of the town of Mammoth Lakes.
So, I've been down that road many times. Are we talking about widening the existing road going down into the valley, or a new road entirely?
The top nearly 3 miles of road is a lane and a half road, lane and a half wide road from Minaret Summit to Reds Meadow.
Right.
They're going to widen that, completely widen that.
That whole part going down?
The whole thing, yes. The whole thing, so it's a major destruction to the side of that mountain.
Yeah.
Which
I thought the whole point was to keep that preserved that way. I mean, I asked many times, why didn't they widen the road? And they said, oh no, we're trying to keep the footprint as small as possible. We're trying to protect the wilderness. We're trying to keep the forest the forest.
You're exactly right.
Yeah,
That's exactly been...
You're right. This is a complete 180 from...
In the 1970s, the Forest Service, I remember distinctly the Forest Service telling my parents that Red's Meadow will never look like the main lodge in Mammoth Mountain Ski Area. The Red's Meadow Valley will never look like Mammoth. And so now we have a small, narrow road going down in the Red's Meadow Valley. It's a very scenic road with very nice natural rock, retaining walls.
Scary at times.
A little scary.
When you have to pass.
But it's a very nice, natural-looking road.
Yeah.
And instead, it's going to be replaced with a full 2-lane road with a retaining wall like what's right on Main Street in Mammoth. So the idea of it's never to look like Mammoth has obviously gone out the window if they're going to make it look like Mammoth.
When is this happening?
Well, the construction is supposed to start in the spring of 23. The contract is being advertised currently for potential bidders on the contract. Madera County is doing what they can to slow this thing down, but so far the Forest Service and the town of Mammoth are charging ahead. And the Forest Service and the town of Mammoth has maintained that, well, we need to widen the road for safety. I have a concern with the sincerity of that argument, because if the section of road they're going to completely re-engineer, they're going to widen it, that section of road, there has never been an accident. The road has been there for roughly 100 years, never a single accident on that road, yet they're going to completely re-engineer it, which will increase vehicle speeds. Yet the section of the road between Red's Meadow and Agnew Meadows, there's constant accidents. Vehicles are constantly hitting trees. Recently, 2 more vehicles were totaled on that road. Vehicle collisions because of the tight turns. Constant accidents on that road.
And that's down in the valley.
Down in the valley.
Because they're speeding.
And they're going to do nothing to change any of the dangerous turns in the valley. So I have a hard time with the sincerity. I think they just throw the safety argument out there as people think it sounds good. But
So,
if you look at it from a practical standpoint, it makes no sense whatsoever.
is there a plan then to stop the buses and allow more people down into the valley then?
Well, in the early scoping meetings, the town of Mammoth was proposing that, and the Forest Service said no to that one. So hopefully the Forest Service holds their position and continues with the bus service.
So,
And then also, in addition to this project, the Devil's Post Pile is
Yeah.
in the valley.
right?
Their engineers, they brought in engineers, Department of Interior engineers, they looked at the road, they came to the same conclusion that I have, and most of the public, that the road from Internet Summit to Agnew, yes, there's some bad spots that could be fixed, but other than that, it serves the purpose for what it is quite well, and there are some dangerous portions, some dangerous turns in the valley that should be addressed. And the Devil's Post Pile offered to cost share the entire project. They made a $7.5 million offer to fix some of the dangerous turns in the valley, and the town of Mammoth basically told the Post Pile to go pound sand.
Why is this a violation of laws and agreements doing this road?
Well, that's the problem. We don't know that any laws have technically been violated. One, the Forest Service can give an easement to anybody they want. So even though Madera, even though Madera is the county, the Forest Service, they can do whatever they want. That's their land that the road is on, so they can give it to anybody they want. So the town of Mammoth is being very opportunistic here on just basically doing a land grab.
Right. Will they actually get the land, or will they just own the road? Will it stay Madera County, or will it become a part of Mono County?
Well, the land that the road is on is Forest Service land. It will remain Forest Service land. However, the easement for the road they'll create an easement and give the easement to the town of Mammoth.
But it'll remain the county of...
But it remains, the area that it's in remains Madera County,
Wow.
Forest Service land, but they're creating an easement and giving that easement to the town of Mammoth for the road.
So I think you've already answered my next question. I was going to ask, could there be another less destructive way? And I think that would just be simply fixing those more areas that have been kind of getting washed out and they have the orange cones around.
Right. There's another argument that they've come up with why this is so important is that why it's so important to do this road project is the road's falling off the side of the mountain. Well, the road's been there for 100 years.
Wow.
The only maintenance it's had was in 1980 when the Forest Service decided to pave the road. They contacted Madera County. Madera County came and paved the road. So it's a 100-year-old road that 40 years ago had a couple inches of blacktop put on it. And other than that, it's had zero maintenance, no maintenance other than cleaning out culverts, that kind of stuff. And the road is still there. So it's not falling off the mountain. It's a very solid road base that it's on. Yeah, the pavement's getting worn out. It's getting rough. But a 40-year-old road with no maintenance, it's from that standpoint, it's holding up quite well.
I would say so. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be outraged by this. Who can they contact? What can we do about it?
It appears that the sole decision maker in this process is the forest supervisor of the International Forest.
Okay.
And that's kind of been a revolving door through this project. We're currently on our third forest supervisor, which is Leslie Yen, and however she's gone on a 6-month detail to another forest now. And so that's been part of the problem. There's just been a constant turnover of the forest supervisor. And while Leslie Yen seems to be a pretty sharp person and seems to be concerned about this project, she's not here. So the town of Mammoth is they're moving forward. I think they're being very opportunistic of the Forest Service constant void in leadership. So hopefully, yeah, it's certainly worth talking to Leslie Yen. Madera County has tried to engage the Forest Service, but they're not having a whole lot of luck.
All right, so start with the local forest department. Try to get a hold of Leslie Yen if you can. If you can't, talk to somebody there at the local forest department. Voice your opinion. If you're against this, I would suggest contacting Madera County as well, but obviously they already know they don't want this. And do you think it would behoove viewers to try to reach out to Mammoth?
The town of Mammoth, they are, I think the only thing that could be done on that is the elections coming up, don't re-elect any of the incumbents, because the incumbents are trying for this land grab, is the best I can tell. I don't know the position on any of the non-incumbents that are going in there, but there's certainly a land grab, and there's been a very clear direction for this valley for a long time, and the town of Mammoth needs to stay within their city limits and do what they think they're good at, like airport management.
All right, well, you heard it here. Bobby Tanner shared with us, protect Red's Meadows. Get out there and make your phone calls if you're opposed to this, and see what we can do as a group of people. He also said, don't elect the incumbents if that's the way you don't want to see this happening. You have the power to elect who you choose to elect, and I believe that's November 8th.
Hello, I'm Fred Rowe from Sierra Bright Dot Fly Fishing Guide Service. I've been teaching, guiding, writing, and lecturing on fly fishing since 1982. Well, let's get to this week's fly fishing report. Well, it's cold out and there's snow on the mountains. I'm thinking winter's here. Well, up on Hot Creek, it's fishing good in the canyon. It's still really tough, but we're catching fish. There's enough open water, and they're taking size 20 gray caddis, both nymphs and dry flies. Over on the Upper Owens, a fresh pot of fish have moved in, so we're catching trophy rainbows in them. And we're using size 12 stoner nymphs and green gold prince nymphs in there. Down on the Lower Owens in the Owens Valley, yeah, we're doing good in there. It's still the pheasant tail nymphs that are doing it on the nymphs. And then over on Bishop Creek Canal, that's fishing great, and we're nymphing in there with pheasant tails and prince nymphs. And Fred Rowe from Sierra Bright Dot Fly Fishing Guide Service.
I am very disturbed by this. like, subscribe, and comment. People.